We have breaking news right now. If you've been with us, then you know hundreds of police are looking for a sharpshooter who has struck again. His latest victim, a 13-year-old boy, is in critical condition, fighting for his life. And here is where it all started. Kids at Benjamin Tasker Middle School in Bowie, Maryland, were ushered inside this morning after that boy was shot, just moments after he had been dropped off. Police spread out, going door to door, trying to find any possible witnesses. Today's shooting and its young victim are touching people in a brand new way, even bringing a police chief to tears.
But stepping over the line, shooting a kid, I guess it's getting to be really, really personal now.
Today's school shooting has now been linked with ballistics to the 6 shootings in Montgomery County, the one killing in D.C., and the shooting of a woman in Fredericksburg, Virginia. We have team coverage this evening, beginning with Fox 5's Bob Barnard live at Benjamin Tasker Middle School, where it all began. Bob.
Well, Tracy, you get the sense that Chief Moose knew before all we did that the killer was here again. His last 2 victims, the 7th and 8th victims, surviving his shots, but he took the weekend off and came to school on a Monday morning. He was here. We've got videotape to show you of the chaos outside Benjamin Tasker Middle School this morning. The shot fired at 8:09 this morning. There was utter chaos here because you had parents coming to the school wanting to get their kids out. Many did take them out throughout the day, and they didn't know. They suspected that perhaps this was the work of the same sniper killer, but they did not know until just now. School went on not as usual, but they kept all the students in their same first period classrooms throughout the day. Not a whole lot of work was done. What happened with the student was he was being dropped off here by his aunt just after 8 o'clock this morning. He got out of the car. The aunt apparently started to drive off, heard a gunshot, and turned around and saw her nephew leaning over. She got out of the car and he was able to tell her that he believed he had been shot. She then put him in her car. She, being a nurse, drove him to Bowie Health Center, and from there he was then airlifted to Children's Hospital. We spoke to some parents and students at the time this morning, and understandably they were very upset.
I was worried because this never happened like this before at my school, and I was worried because I ain't wanted to die like that.
I don't know what this girl was the world coming to, and this shooting in broad daylight, that 13-year-old boy that got shot. I mean, it's just crazy. And I was just concerned about my son, you know. I'm glad he's all safe, you know, and pray that the young guy that got shot, hopefully he make it, you know, and he's in our prayers.
Now, a little before 3 o'clock this afternoon, a couple of ride-on buses from Montgomery County brought in 80 Montgomery County police recruits. They are now going through the schoolyard. They are also in the neighborhood across the street. They are looking for any kind of forensic evidence, shell casings, perhaps a cigarette butt, anything that the killer may have left behind. Although police now know he was here, they just don't know from where here he took the shot, and they sure want to stop him before he fires again. Back to you.
Indeed they do, Bob. Thanks so much. And with this connection now, you can imagine Prince George's County Police need your help. They need information. They have set up a tip line. The number is 800-673-2777. Laura?
And Tracy, as Bob just mentioned, thousands of tips have been pouring into investigators, and at this hour, police are still trying to uncover any clues. Police cadets from Montgomery County stood elbow to elbow this afternoon helping with the Bowie school shooting investigation. Those cadets are doing a grid search in a wooded area near Benjamin Tasker Middle School. Police believe the gunman might have fired from that wooded area. Fox 5's Beth Parker's been following today's investigation as well. She joins us live now from police headquarters in Palmer Park. Beth?
Well, Laura, as many of us heard just moments ago, Joe Reel from the ATF saying, quote, the projectile is identical to those recovered at the other scenes. That's the answer to the question an awful lot of people have been waiting for all day. People wanting to know if, in fact, this shooting at Benjamin Tasker Middle School in Bowie at 8:09 this morning was, in fact, connected to this shooting spree, the sniper fire that's been going on since this past Wednesday. And we are told now that based on ballistics evidence, it is, in fact, the same gunman, or certainly the same gun. We have a little bit of sound from that news conference. Police Chief Gerald Wilson.
We were informed by Assistant Special Agent in charge, Reel, that the projectile that was recovered from our victim this morning has been linked to the other cases in the Washington metropolitan area.
Now, it was kind of a strange situation. Chief Gerald Wilson actually left an earlier news conference maybe about a half hour ago or so, went back to his office, and then literally maybe just 10 minutes later or so came back into the room where the news conference had been held earlier and said, hey, we've got some more information, some new ballistics information. You had heard him say earlier that he wanted to, quote, empower citizens with information. Certainly he's getting the information out there as quickly as possible. And again, this case now linked to the others. The chief says that that means that they are definitely taking a regional approach to this investigation. Montgomery County, the district, Prince George's County, Spotsylvania, all working together, trying to track down the killer. As you heard him say earlier, more than 150 tips and bits of information coming in to crime solvers just here in Prince George's County. So they are hearing from a lot of people out in the community wanting to help out with this case. You may have also heard the chief mention that they are intending to bring some gun cases here, the sort of cases in which guns like this would be carried. They're going to bring them out, show them to the media, and hopefully get them out before the public so that the public can take a look and see if maybe it jogs somebody's memory or gives somebody a clearer sense of what one of these guns might look like. Obviously, I have a whole lot of work left to do. They are getting a good deal of information from the public, but they certainly are still waiting, still hoping that they're going to get that one bit of information that leads them to the killer. Live in Palmer Park, I'm Beth Parker. Laura Tracy, back to you.
All right, Beth, thanks so much. Tracy?
Right now, relatives of the young boy are anxiously waiting to see if, in fact, he can recover. He was critically wounded when that bullet tore through his abdomen and his chest. He underwent hours of surgery to remove fragments. Fox 5's Allison Seymour has been covering Children's Hospital for us all morning, all evening. She joins us live now from there with the latest on how he's doing. Allison.
Tracy, the good news is he is stable. He is still critical, but he is, of course, fighting for his life at this hour. This, as you said, after several hours of surgery earlier today. Just to tell you the extent of his damages, there was one bullet wound. The bullet did enter his abdomen, but the problem is it shattered, and that shattering caused damage to his spleen, his stomach, his pancreas. Surgeons actually had to go in there and take out part of his other organs, including his spleen, his pancreas, and stomach. Now, earlier today, we did hear about the surgery from the pediatric surgeon in charge, Dr. Marty Eichenberger. This is what he had to say.
This is a 13-year-old young man that had an injury, that had a gunshot wound that entered his abdomen, went through his chest, injured his spleen, his stomach, his pancreas, and his lung. It also injured his diaphragm. So he had a significant injury to the left upper portion of his abdomen and the lower portion of his chest.
Now, at the time of that news conference, roughly about an hour or so ago, this young man was still under the effects of anesthesia. They want to keep him calm. They are watching him extremely closely over these next 8 hours or so. He did lose a great deal of blood, and they just want to make sure that his condition remains stable. Again, stable. However, he is critical. Again, it's the loss of blood, and it's the damage to his organs that at this hour have him breathing with the help of a ventilator. He is not breathing on his own. They did say he was doing 50% of the work, the other 50% being helped out by the surgeons here at Children's National Medical Center. So again, the next 8 hours, we're just here watching. We're going to be right here in case there's any change in his condition. Until then, I'm Allison Seymour, live at Children's. Back to you.
All right, Allison, thanks so much. And again, the next few hours are so critical because they want to make sure that the damaged lungs can work on their own and that this young man can survive. Laura?
Tracy, as soon as the frightening news of the shooting spread today, many parents went directly to Tasker Middle School to pick up their children. Their only concern, ensuring the safety of their families in the wake of this sniper-like attack. Amy Robach now reports on a terrifying day for Bowie parents and children.
Hand in hand, one by one, parents and children left Tasker Middle together, a little closer than they arrived. As some parents quickly whisked their children away, others were just arriving, desperate to find their kids.
We live right up the street, and I just sent him out on his bike to make sure he's not late. And my youngest was banging on the door. Somebody's at the door, and it was our neighbor that he normally would have walked to school with. And, of course, all in a panic, I dropped the other kid off and just got here as quickly as I could.
Just grabbing my keys. It was time to go. You know, that was my first reaction. I had to make sure she was okay.
More than 700 students attend Tasker Middle, and with an ongoing crime scene in the front of the school, It was chaotic at best. Many wonder what tomorrow may bring.
That whole idea that I'm taking my kids to school to make sure they're safe, how well can we really protect our children? I think every one of us, as soon as our children leave the door every morning, we release them into the protection of God.
Absolute horror. This isn't supposed to happen in a community like this.
But it did, and it's left a permanent mark on both students and parents alike. Amy Robach, Fox 5 News.
Many parents say they moved to Bowie deliberately to avoid crime and violence.
Well, Laura,